Bernard, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
I'm well. Listen, I didn't want the opportunity to pass without checking in with you regarding this incredible story about Ruby, your Springer Spaniel. So can we rewind back to June of last year? What happened?
June last year, June the 11th, she was taken out of her run, which is below our house here sometime during the day. And the fence around it is 6 foot high, and she was taken out over it.
Yeah.
So that evening when we missed her, my son contacted the Gardaí in Midleton, and they came out and they checked around and we put it on Facebook. He got onto the customs, he got onto Rosslare and Dublin Port and everything, you know, just to inform him that she had been stolen, to keep an eye out.
And the guards also put it up on their Facebook as well, didn't they? They do that.
That's right.
As
they
normal.
did.
Yeah.
They did. And quite a number of people that are into, you know, watching for stolen animals, they shared this. It was shared, I don't know how many times.
100,000 times.
Right.
Amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So it was shared all over, and back in October, then the end of October, my son out of the blue got a message on Facebook from a woman, "Is this your dog?"
Go away.
Picture of the dog and 6 pups for sale. Now, she was in pup a week or two before she was taken.
Yeah.
And I would safely say only for that, we would never have found her.
And I know you were reunited with Ruby this weekend, but fill in the dots. Was she one of many dogs that are stolen?
She was one of hundreds, I would imagine, at this stage that have been stolen all over the place.
And how are they taken out of the country?
Obviously, they were shipped out somewhere. Possibly, from what I hear since, they can go out through the north.
Yeah.
They're going out through the north, out to Scotland and around from there.
It's incredible.
You know, anything going out from Dublin or Rosslare, they seem to be picking those up.
So this lady made contact with you, said, "Is this your dog?" And yes, indeed, it was Ruby. She'd given birth to the pups.
It was Ruby, and in fairness, she's one of these people that's watching out for these things, apparently, herself and her friend, that they have told my son Bill since that they're watching for this.
It's incredible. So were the pups for sale as well as Ruby?
No, the pups were for sale, not Ruby.
Go away, the 6 pups.
The pups were for sale, yes.
So how did the English police get involved in this thing? Can you tell us?
Well, the English police, we got in touch then with the Gardaí here in Midleton to say, look, we've been contacted on Facebook, picture of our dog on that her pups are for sale over in England.
Yeah.
And they said, "Can you come in?" And we went in and we were inside with them, and they were saying, you know, could we put up a profile to buy one of the pups that we might get more information?
Brilliant.
And in the meantime, while we were there with that, a friend of this woman in England had made contact with the people over, pretending to buy one of the pups.
Brilliant.
And had gotten their address.
A sting. A set-up sting.
A sting.
And what happened? What happened next?
She passed that information on here to us straight away. We gave it to the guards inside in Midleton that day when we were inside. They got onto the police over. And after about a week, then my wife rang and they said, you know, we weren't hearing anything. And police here said, maybe, you know, give a ring yourself and see, it might help the thing. So they told us that they were waiting on paperwork from the dog warden over at the dog unit, and that they were waiting on a car to go out there.
But they eventually did, didn't they?
The following week they went out. They went out on the Monday, scanned our dog, and her chip had been removed.
Go away.
And rechipped. So they came back and they must have said that someone in a vet said, look, it's possible there could be a second chip there. They went out and scanned again. And there was only the one chip. And they did say that the woman was nervous when they said what they were there about. And, you know, so they were kind of iffy then with the situation when the chip wasn't there. Yet from the photos we sent them and everything, you could see that all the markings were
the same, yeah.
Exactly the same dog.
But they thought maybe they'd been sold a pup, as the fella says, and that it wasn't your dog at all. How did they prove eventually that it was that it was
what
Ruby.
happened eventually was, on the Thursday of that week, she came forward herself, the woman, to say that she was willing to give back the dog, that she, think that she had it in her heart not to have someone else's dog, that she was in possession of a stolen dog.
So this wasn't a puppy farm or anything, was it? No?
It quite possibly was. I don't know.
So I hear. Well, anyway, whatever the story was, Ruby was found. It reminds me of it. It reminds me of the story of Libby we had on the air some time back.
That's right. I remember it. Yeah.
We spoke to the family. Libby is a Jack Russell from Ballincollig. She was 3 years missing.
She was gone for 6 years, wasn't she?
I think it was more like 3 years, Bernard. But she was found wandering the streets in some English town, if I remember correctly. And
that's right. That's correct.
She was found, brought to a vet. The microchip was checked, and they were able to trace her back to Ballincollig. But she was 3 years away. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Were your family heartbroken when Ruby was gone?
They were heartbroken. Like, my son had been working from home, and like, she was his lifeline, because every day he finished for lunch, he had her out for his walk,
sure,
and everything. Like, after a month, he was so heartbroken, he went away and he bought another pup.
Oh, my God. Like stolen dogs...
Could not handle it.
He couldn't handle it. Stolen dogs skyrocketed in 2020 because of COVID and people at home.
With the lockdown, so many people at home, like, it just went mad.
And when Ruby came back and you were reunited, clearly she knew you all, did she?
Well, she was actually sceptical, when she came back first, when we met her first. She was traumatised because she was badly treated and everything where she was.
Was she?
She was quite thin. Now, she was in the care of a friend of ours, Steve, over in Manchester for a month before we got her back. Because she had to have a rabies injection and she had to get a passport.
I know, but eventually she got the crossing and got home in poor health nonetheless.
We went over then and we brought her back there, and she's been doing quite well since we brought her back.
And what about the pups then, Bernard?
Pups were sold.
Over there? All gone.
They were sold over there.
Won't say much more about that because I think it's still a live investigation, isn't it?
It is still alive.
Oh my God. It's a great story nonetheless though, isn't it? Coming full circle, is it?
To be honest, Neil, I think we all think here it's a miracle.
1 in a million miracle.
It's 1 in a million.
1 in 100 million.
That she was found. But look, Facebook, and get people out there. And I would say to people, have your dogs chipped. I know they are cutting the chips out of them.
Yeah, which they did with
because
Ruby.
There was another case during the year of a spaniel and their pups taken in Wexford. And the mother of the pups was got wandering the streets in Dublin with the chip removed.
My God.
The chip cut out of her.
I know.
And just left off. But there was an undercover program done, I think, with the BBC or some one of those, and it showed them they're cutting the chips out of them.
Well, I bet you after my conversation with you, I'll get calls and texts from other people who have lost dogs or had them stolen, because you have to be so alert these days.
Oh, you have to be so alert. I know of
with all dogs.
Now, they had 2 dogs taken since. Fed the dogs, 20 minutes later, the 2 dogs gone.
I know. They're watching, you see. They're watching, waiting for the opportunity.
You just can't let the dogs out of your sight.
Well, listen, I'm delighted for you and for Liz. And what's your son's name?
Bill.
And Bill.
And my daughter Lisa as well,
Lisa.
Neil.
And Ruby and Lisa are probably cuddled up on the couch as we speak.
No, to Kobe, the pup we bought, and Ruby, the 2 of them are cuddled up on the couch.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Yeah. Listen, thanks for sharing it. I'm delighted for you. A bit of good news for a change, which is great.
Bit of good news for a change.
Cheers, Bernard. Bye.